bring in Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett. He is a member on the House DOGE subcommittee. Congressman, terrific to see you. James and I both watched the DOGE subcommittee hearing last week, but the Democrats, the elected Democrats, are so unhinged already that we have seen, I've heard just in the last day, Senator Tim Kaine talking about this is a war on our veterans. And then Congressman Jason Crow is talking about Americans are going to die because people's lives depend on government research into cancer and Alzheimer's. How desperate will they get because their control over this vast bureaucracy is being threatened?
Probably a whole lot more. And I think it goes a lot deeper than that. I think when we follow this money trail, I think that's what the delays they're putting in place now to get them into the courts so they can cover up their paper trail. The #1 search in the Washington, D.C. area on computers this past week was criminal defense attorneys. And you're seeing all the real estate that's for sale up there. There's a reason for all of that. And Americans are tired of paying 50% of their salaries to taxes, state, federal, and local. And then we're paying for things like sex change operations for folks down in Central America, LGBTQ comics for children, things like that. And, you know, an opera, DEI, LGBTQ operas that American taxpayers are funding. And we found out last week that we, in fact, I have a bill to stop this, but the Taliban receives about $40 million a week from American taxpayers. Well, Scott Perry out of Pennsylvania found out that, in fact, we're giving billions of dollars with a B to terrorist organizations. Those groups will hate us for free. Americans cannot afford this anymore, and they're sick and tired of it. The polling numbers are through the roof for President Trump, as they should be. The Democrats brought no facts, no receipts, as the young people say last week. All they did was attack Elon Musk. And I'll remind them, when they attacked those 18, 19, and 20-year-old kids, as they call them, these guns behind me were guns my father took off of dead Japanese soldiers he killed when he was 20 years old. That was the generation that saved this country. It saved the world, actually, from tyranny. And those are the type of people they're running down. They're just regular citizens called to do brave things. And that's what they did, the greatest generation. And these young people are following suit that are working in the DOGE group.
Okay, Congressman, I wanted to ask you, you're talking about the waste being uncovered and it's kind of indefensible, and yet some people trying to defend it. I wonder if that's related to these crowd sizes where we remember during the first Trump term, there were these massive protests. Now we're looking at this footage. It's in the hundreds. I think it was a few hundred people in Knoxville, your home city. I think the University of Tennessee has an enrollment over 30,000. This movement, it seems, is not exactly catching on.
Well, I'd say as fees go up in places like the University of Tennessee, those students are looking at their paychecks, and that's the quickest way to turn a young liberal into a wise moderate or conservative, is just look at their paycheck, how much they made and how much they take home. And when they see their fees start going up and see all this nonsense going on, they're going to say enough is enough. We don't need any more of this. And I think this country is embracing this president because of that.
Congressman, the word is to Fox, according to sources, that DOGE is very close to accessing or gaining access to the IRS integrated data retrieval system, that is imminent. However, it's worth noting that like last year during the Biden administration, the Inspector General found that there were 5,000 contractors that have access to sensitive information systems. And it's so bad within the IRS can't even keep track of who has access to these systems, just to counter all the caterwauling that you're hearing out of the Democrats about, oh, the access to the IRS systems.
Well, first of all, Elon Musk owned PayPal, and they've never cracked into that system. And the IRS is a porous sieve, ma'am. And the IRS is angry. The reason they're angry is they're going to have to start showing up for work. You know, I'm a United States congressman, and it can take me up to 6 months to get a dadgum response from them. That is not acceptable. The average citizen could go years without that. And then when we find out the IRS employees are getting audited themselves and they've delayed their audits, there's a lot going on there. These alphabet agencies are getting ready to see a reckoning, and I'm glad that Donald J. Trump is doing it. All he's doing is keeping his word. That's what's so unusual about this president. You look at any of the presidents in the recent history, they never keep their word. They say all that stuff to get elected, and yet they don't do it. I remember when I was county mayor in Knox County, I said, we're going to cut debt. And we did. And people pitched a fit. They said, oh, but that's what you ran on. That's not what you're supposed to be about. And I say, well, no, dadgummit, we ran on it. That's what we're going to do it. And that's what this president is doing in spades.
And this is why we do DOGE. According to Elon Musk, we have vampires collecting Social Security.
The data he posted from the Social Security database shows that millions of people are allegedly over the age of 140 years old. Congressman,
yeah, well, I mean,
if it's even one, that's too many. But what do we know about that?
It shows that every department is corrupt, and you're going to see the money where it flows back to, and it goes right out of the American taxpayer's pocket into the back pocket of politicians in Washington. And you're going to see congressmen. I hope it's not on both sides of the aisle, but I'm afraid it will be, because that's who will start pitching a fit. You'll see these guys in these committees start because they have a wife and or girlfriend that works for one of these companies or groups that is funded through one of these other government agencies, and they're going to pitch a fit. We found them in the past. They've been funneling money into campaigns and things like that. And yet the so-called legacy media, which is in bed with these folks, has decided to turn a blind eye. But thank goodness for you all at Fox, because you're keeping their feet to the fire.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've got a big set of lungs, too. I can holler like the best of them. My granny taught me to call hogs. Thank you, Congressman Tim Burchett. I will not do it here.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's okay. I've got some donkeys that are loose out here. My miniature donkeys keep getting loose. I need to get you over here in Knoxville to help me with them.
Yep, I can do that. Another day,
Thank you, ma'am.
sir. Thank you, sir.